thing that I want to share today is something that I learned giving blood most recently. I've given blood for a while, did it years and years ago, and then got out of the habit of doing it. So really wanted to get back into the habit again. And there's a dreadful shortage of it right now. So if you have any thoughts of it, please consider giving blood. This year, unlike any year before, I've had an issue with my hemoglobin. And that's the amount of iron that's in your blood, and a test that they do before you're allowed to give blood, which is just a prick of your finger, and it measures those levels. It's supposed to be no less than 12.5 in order to give blood. And this year I have been 12, I've been 11.9, I've been a variety of different numbers. Not that those are unhealthy numbers in the big scope of things, so it wasn't that I was unhealthy. It's just that the readings were not sufficient to give blood. 3 times I was not able to, and they told me a variety of things, that maybe I was taking too much calcium, a variety of different things. I needed to eat different foods, which I was already, they told me to eat more fish, and I already eat gobs of fish. And so it was just a real quandary, and I was getting frustrated because I wasn't able to give blood. So this time when I went in, the young man said, are your hands cold? Well, my hands are always cold. And especially when I go give blood, those places are frigid. I don't know if it's connected with the actual blood itself, or if it's to keep the crew because they're so busy. I don't know what it is, but nonetheless, it's always really cold even in the summer. It's the first time I'd ever heard of that. So I hadn't tested my hemoglobin before we went any further, any of the other things that they would normally do, because why waste his time? So he did my right hand, and it was at 11.9, which is totally unacceptable. So that's when we started with the conversation, where he brought up that potentially it could be the fact that my fingers were cold. So I just rubbed my hands together while he was getting things ready. And he did the same thing when he was done. He had on his latex gloves, and so he got really warm really fast. So he held my hand, both top and bottom, just for a matter of moments, and then he tested the blood on this side, and I was 12.9. So that was really exciting. I was able to give blood. So how many of the times during this past year when I was below that magic mark of 12.5 would I actually have been able to give blood if I had known about the whole concept of whether my hands are cold or not? Well, I was toying with whether I was going to share this with you, and I've shared it with some people, and I wasn't sure how expansive of an issue this actually was to share, because I don't know how many people this actually impacts. But I started thinking about other tests that we do, other tests that happen in our lives connected with going to the doctor, that maybe are other things that we might be able to have more control over. I don't know, because I haven't come across them. I'm certainly going to start looking for other of those things and share them with you. But the things that immediately come to hand are, so many times when we go to the doctor, we're stressed at just the mere concept of going to the doctor. And maybe we don't breathe, maybe there's so many different things that can happen when they're taking our blood pressure. So get to the point of maybe testing it more often at home, or going into the various drugstores and wherever, where they have the machines that you can go ahead and take your blood pressure, so that you know what it is on a regular basis. And so when you go to the doctor and it's crazy, you know, and you can share the fact that that's not normal, that you're just stressed about going. Maybe it's just that you need to breathe more, and that can have a huge impact on your blood pressure. Additionally, things like years ago, we went to a doctor, and this was way before David had been diagnosed as diabetic, and they didn't tell us to fast when we were to come in for the next blood test. And so we didn't know it at the time. I mean, we didn't have any benchmark to even think about that. And so we went in and they tested our blood, and I guess it was higher than they had thought. And they said, well, come back again, but fast this time. And we're like, why didn't you tell us to fast in the first place? So sometimes the directions that we get from doctors may be a little non-inclusive of all of the things that we really need to know. So I'm just curious from you if any of you have learned any tricks that make it more effective in your testing for these various things that we need to do to keep track of ourselves. That's it for today. Keep me posted if there's any of these similar items that you can come up with at all. So move well, stay healthy, be happy, live your life with passion, And thanks so much. Bye-bye.